Okay, hello and assalamualaikum everyone. So this is the video we explain to you on the learning objective number 1 to explain the 5 phases of the system development life cycle and discuss the people involved in the system development and the roles that they play. Okay, so this is the second video of the 6-part series. Okay, so first of all, before we look at the SDLC, the phases that involve in the system development life cycle, the SDLC, let me explain to you the overall picture how the system project started. So system project meaning here the how they started the development of a new system. Okay, so as we discussed in the first part, in the introduction part, there are many reasons why the companies want to change the current system to the new system. Okay, so the changes, it might be because it might be one, they want to purchase, okay, the new software, a new system, or they want to develop on their own of the system, or they want to modify the current system that they already have. Okay, so the first process or procedure that normally that the companies go through is the users, okay, will prepare the proposal. So the user maybe come from the departments, okay, that use the system. So they will send the proposal to the IT teams. The IT teams is normally the who are the responsible to develop system. So the IT team will review the proposal, and then they will determine if it represents the strong business case. So business case here is meaning the reasons or the justification why they want to have a new system, or they want to modify the current system, or they want to purchase a new system. Okay, and then after that they will have a new the formal way for asking the system to develop the system to the IT support, that we call it as the system request. Okay, so that's the term used that they normally use. So system request, it can be online request or anything that companies fix. Maybe they have a specific form, okay, that they need to fill in if they want to request a new system. So we call it as a system request. So the request will be formally give to the IT support or IT teams. Okay, and then the IT teams or the that is some of the company, if they are big company, they have a committee. Okay, the committee called system review committee. They will evaluate the system request, they evaluate the system requirements. Okay, and then from there they will do the feasibility study. Okay, the feasibility study is the purpose is to determine whether it is worthwhile to proceed, okay, if the with the proposal just now. Okay, and then they will evaluate the feasibility. Okay, because normally in the IT teams, okay, the IT teams will receive many requests or many proposals. So from there they will evaluate which project, okay, they are more feasible. Okay, that we call evaluating the feasibility. So they identify and without any system requests that they are not feasible. Okay, and then they give priority after that. Okay, which project they are they must they give the priority which one is more important. Okay, and then the companies need to develop that project first. Okay, that system first. Okay, so they will do setting the priorities. Okay, so that's the overall picture, this how the project started. Okay, so that's normally the process that involved in many of the companies when they want to start with the new system. Okay, so we look at the phases involved in the system development life cycle. Okay, so if you refer figure 22.1, okay, so in this figure 22.1, they explain to you the phases that involve in the system development life cycle. So the first phase is the system analysis, okay, which is we're going to cover the system analysis phase in this chapter 22. So in this phase, they will do initial investigation, do survey, feasibility study, okay, and then they're going to determine the information needs and the system requests. Okay, then from there they will produce the reports ataupun kita panggil system requirements. So they will deliver the system requirements to the committee to review. Okay, and then the next phase, okay, we have the conceptual design. So we're going to discuss in the chapter 23. So in this conceptual design, we're going to identify and evaluate the design alternative. Okay, develop the design specification and deliver the conceptual design requirements. So actually the last step to conceptual design requirement, that's actually the reports, okay, that we produce from this phase. Okay, and then the next phase is the physical design, which is we're going to discuss on the third chapter of the AIS 655, which is chapter 24. Okay, so this is where they're going to design the physical of the system, include output design, database design, input design, program, procedure, control, and they will deliver this development system. Alright, and then the next phase is implementation and conversion. Okay, they will develop an implementation and the conversion plan. They will do the installation. Okay, so this is where the implementation take part. They will install the hardware and software, and then other steps that involved in this phase is they will have a training on the personnel, the users. Okay, they will do the testing, complete the documentation, and after that they can convert from old to the new system, and they will deliver the operational system. Alright, and then the last phase is the operations and maintenance. Okay, it's also covered in the chapter 24. So in this chapter, they will fine-tune and do post-implementation review, and then they will operate the system. Okay, and then if let's say after the operation of the system, they still have bugs or error, they will modify the system, and also they do ongoing maintenance to the system. Okay, and then they will deliver the improved system. Alright, so if you look at this figure, okay, they have also the steps involved in the middle ni. Okay, that's also we discussed in chapter 22, which is feasibility analysis and decision points. So actually the feasibility analysis, okay, this step, okay, will be prepared during the system analysis, and also will updated as necessary during the phases in the SDLC. So the feasibility analysis, it can be specifically we said that they will be done during the system analysis, but it also can be done in other phases when they have changes in the user requirement. So they will need to do the feasibility analysis. So that's why the feasibility analysis is it puts in the middle of the figure. So because they want to mention that this feasibility analysis, it can be updated to any of the phases if necessary. Okay, and then if we look at in this one, system planning, okay, and managing behavioral reaction to the change. So both topics, okay, also discussed in this chapter 22. So actually the system planning also perform throughout the SDLC, okay, because if they need to do changes, also they need to have a proper planning. Okay, but bear in mind, okay, if you refer to other textbook or you refer other resources, okay, as I mentioned earlier in the first class hari tu, I did mention that you also can refer other books that have a title System Analysis and Design. So maybe it could be they have different phases. Okay, so some of the books they start system planning as the first phase, not system analysis. So do not confuse because sometimes the author's view is different, but the content is the same. So you still can refer the other reference that maybe they said that system planning as the first phase, not system analysis. So it also it's not wrong. Okay, you also can refer to that one. Alright, but for this purpose of AIS 655, since we use the Romney, so we maintain to use this SDLC, these 5 phases that involved in the SDLC. Okay. Okay. So those basically the phases, okay, that we're going to discuss later. Okay, and then who are involved, the players that involved in the system development. Alright, so they have, kalau you refer the textbook, okay, they discuss a number of people, okay, that involved in the system development. Alright, so the first one is the management. Okay, so the management is the important role, okay, in the system development, okay, because they will involve also in the process. Okay, so normally the management are important to support any of the requests or the system system requests or proposal, okay, that prepared by the users to the IT teams. Okay, so the management, okay, they will see on the alignment of the system with the corporate strategy, okay, because they are top managers, so normally they know what's the strategy, and then they have to look at the proposal, look at the changes that need to be done if they want to develop a new system. So they need to make sure the changes is in line with the corporate strategy. Okay, and then other key rules also include they need to establish the system goal, the objective, so that they in line also with the corporate strategy. Okay, and then the management also need to establish any policies for the project selection. Okay, and then also they, of course, they need to involve any in the decision making. Okay, in the any important system decisions. Okay, they need to participate. Alright. Then the second players, of course, the users. Okay, because the users who are going to use the system. So the AIS users, they will need to communicate their needs, okay, their information needs to the system developers, because the users that who are going to use the system, so they need to communicate, they need to give the information to the they need to give their requirements, okay, what are what their needs to the system developers. Okay, so normally the users also involved in the system development, so we're going to discuss it later, why the importance, okay, the importance why the users need to involve in the development process. Okay, and then the accountants, okay, also play a role, so we discuss later after this what's the role of the accountants. Okay, then the next players is the information system steering committee. Okay, so in a larger company, they will form the committee. They call it as the steering committee to plan and oversee the information system function. Okay, so this steering committee will set the AIS policy. They're going to ensure the participation from the top management. Okay, and then also they give the guidance and control and facilitate any of the coordination integration of the system activity. Alright, so normally the committee will involve many players ataupun many the members, okay, from the many backgrounds. Okay, it can be IT background, from the management background. Okay, so they can give the views and opinions to make a decision in the system activity. Alright, and then the next players is the project development team. Okay, so the project development team, normally this is the development team, okay, who are directly involved in the system analysis and the development process. Okay, so it can consist of the system analysts, specialists, managers, accountants, the users. Okay, so they will form a team to develop the system, or they call as the project system. Okay, so actually we're going to discuss in detail this project development team, the project management. Okay, is a specific topic on the project management during the project Microsoft project topics. Okay, topics on the Microsoft project. Okay, so the project development team, yang normally they will frequently communicate with the users. Alright, and then other important players in the system development, of course, the system analysts and programmers. So actually the analysts who are play an important role in this system development, whereby the analyst will help to determine the information needs. Okay, so normally during the system analysis, the analyst that will do the job. Okay, the analyst will study the current system. Okay, and then they will design the new ones. They prepare the specification used for the programmers. Okay, so then later the programmer will develop the system. They will do the coding part, the programming part. Okay, so they will done by the programmers. Okay, and also the analysts need to ensure that the system will meet the users' needs. Okay, and then also they have external players, include customer, vendors, external auditors, okay, government entities. Okay, so those are the external parties or external players outside the organizations. Alright, and then in your syllabus also mention this one, okay, the roles of the accountant. Since you are the accounting student, okay, so you also need to understand why you need to know about this system development process. Okay, those are some of the reasons that mentioned in the slide. So the accountant is in the position to advise on control system required to meet the need of the organization and management. So as you already learn in the AIS 615, okay, you learn in detail about the internal control of the system. So you could advise the development team on the control of the system. So that's the role of the accountants, one of the role of the role of the accountants. Okay, and then the accountants also need to know the logical design, as it will form the blueprint of the system that will be implemented. So normally the accountants also involved in the logical design, for example in the control design. Okay, since you know detail about the internal controls, especially you know the role of the audit. Okay, you belajar pasal audit kan, ada internal control. So also, you need to know also the logical design of the system development. Okay, and then since the accountants, they have a broad business background, they have the skill on the financial skill, so the accountants also can provide the valuable advice relating to the assessing the investment in IT and the system. Okay, and then the last one, the accountants also expected to translate the business rule and requirements to map them in the new system through the program rules. Okay, so this is also relate to the control, since you also learn in the business cycle in the AIS 615. Okay, so that's also implement during the development process. So you know the roles, you know the activities involved in the business cycle, you know what are the internal control needed in each of the business cycle. Okay, so you can translate those business rules in the new system. They can map out in the new system or through the program rules. Okay, so those are basically the role of the accountant in this system development. So this is also you know the reason why you learn about the system development in this AIS course. Okay, walaupun you seorang accountant, you pun perlu tahulah kenapa perlu belajar system development, walaupun kita tak involve secara direct in the developing. Direct maksudnya kat sini you tak adalah nak kena buat programming and so on. Okay, but you need to your skill, your background about the financial, about the business rule, okay, that helps the business that helps the development team. Okay, so next I show you this is the video that I took from YouTube. Okay, you also can refer the YouTube video that I put here, the link later if you want to see again the video. So this is related to the system development life cycle also. So they give you the overall picture, okay, about the system development life cycle. So let's look at the video.
Imagine you've been tasked with creating a new model of car. Where would you start? You could design cool features to install and then jump right into building it. But what if some pieces don't fit or don't work together? What if the target customer wants totally different features? The same danger is present when creating software. However, a lot of research has gone into avoiding this problem, and the solution is called the systems development life cycle. If you implemented this process in building a car, you'd first think about why you're building it, how it should be built to achieve that purpose, the potential customers, the cost to build it, its price point, and its benefits. Similarly, in systems development, we analyze the feasibility of the project and think about budgets and its scope. This is the planning phase of the cycle. Next, you would think about the specific requirements of the car. What kind of features and operations would the customers expect? In systems development, this is the analysis phase of the cycle, where we analyze the requirements of the new system. After this, you create a blueprint for the design of the car. You consider the different components and the aesthetic design of the car. In systems development, at this stage we draw up diagrams to represent the software system. These include Unified Modeling Language, UML, diagrams that look at the system from different perspectives. This is the design phase of the cycle. Finally, with the car completely designed to meet all specifications, you actually begin building it. Once built, the different components will be thoroughly tested and the car will be taken for a test drive to ensure it was ready to be presented to the market. When the users buy the car and use it for some time, they will require some maintenance issues to be fixed and you would offer these services to them. This is exactly what happens in the systems development life cycle. Once the design is ready, the developers create the code and build the system. It's tested and delivered to the customer. Once the customer is using the system, they will come across some bugs or other maintenance issues that need to be fixed. This is the implementation phase of the cycle. With an integrative approach like this, a project is far more likely to succeed. So are you. In this subject, we will explore exactly what goes into creating a software from start to finish.
Okay, so with this video, I end this this part of video that cover learning objective number 1. So I see you on the next video to cover on the learning objective number 2. Okay.